I looked at your stuff, and I said, I got to cheat and come on in and cut into it.
Man, that's worth it. For the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Vic started it out.
That's right.
I don't know what category. The good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Man, okay, folks, so I don't know. I try to put them in that order roughly, but it doesn't work out that way. Remember, this is internet television. Okay, I told you how this show came about. It's what I get up in the morning. I don't go searching out. Let me tell you, you know how much time we put into preparing for this show? It would shock you.
Yeah.
But I've tried to
Tell
keep
the
it
truth,
real.
man. You can tell
Maybe
the truth.
about an hour.
Yeah, and
I
wait a
put
minute.
maybe a couple.
Do we have any type of pre-meeting to go
No,
over content?
not none whatsoever.
Zero.
No, Sunday nights I get up, get my stuff together for the whole week.
Yeah.
And Vic and I don't knock any heads at all because we're so used to this. We go live.
Yeah.
And the idea was that it's like we get together in the morning, discuss what's up.
Well,
So
it's got to be the
right.
same.
So this is the news that comes across my desk, you guys. I don't take the time to gather it and sort it all out and all that stuff. I'm serious. So some days it's this focus.
Yeah.
It's just what comes across. Now it is what captures my attention.
Right.
And with the sick mind that I have, some of the things that catch my attention, because let me give you an example. The headline story, I go to different news outlets. I go to Al Jazeera, Russia Television, because these are two foreign outlets that actually don't harass us and let us replay, news items. And so I go to Russia Television, Vic.
Right.
Now this is Russia Television. Where is it?
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, you make sure you read those comments by GNN because he's going to be your pipeline of getting the data. But he also has to ask you some questions, so you make sure you follow that chat he got.
Okay, I will. Okay, well, okay. He's trying. He knows I can't see way over there. I'll pull it up over here. There's a way to pull his chat up over here.
See, I'm just saying, since we don't have, we are the chat.
Well,
Twitter
you have
and live chat. We are that, and camera, and content, and investigative research while we're all up here. So I always leave it up to our co-host, supporter Mario, to read the data.
Well, Mac is our GNN bureau chief up there in Port Townsend. He's also our. We throw roles on people. He's an ambassador to the chat room.
Yes, sir.
He's in charge. Did we figure out how to give up some administrative privileges are coming for you?
He only wants one administrative privilege, to have his own personal executive assistant.
Well, we're working on that. It's in that budget, Mac. Anyway. So, Vic, I went to Russia Television looking, and their headline, they have a section on U.S., right. And the headline was "Oral Sex Enthusiasts and Anal Sex Lovers Rejoice." Now, who can resist a headline like that?
I want to know who is the champion.
I didn't write this. Look at this. I swear, I didn't write this, you guys. So this is from Russia Television. Louisiana decriminalizes oral and anal sex. Well, check it out. I didn't realize that this was really an issue. This laws have been on the books in Louisiana since the 1800s. They said 7 years before they even had a statehood, Vic.
Right.
They had laws against unnatural carnal copulation.
Right.
Now, if you were convicted of unnatural carnal copulation, that meant you were branded a sex offender, and you had to get one of those special sex offender tags and all of that. Wow. Now, check this out. People who have been against these laws said the laws have always been used against only certain people. And that includes, now remember, these includes oral and anal sex. Oral and anal. Well, some of the anal might scare some of y'all, but y'all say no head. And, George Clinton said no head, no backstage pass.
I'm going to let you continue on.
I'm just saying because the reason why? Because I went and got stats, and we're going to get into more stats tomorrow. But the other story, but I wouldn't got stats on what people are doing today. So I got actual research now. I got data.
But there's an obvious question. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I had to focus on sex because this came across. Okay. So now, guess who they prosecute? As it turns out, the people convicted of these crimes, which is called unnatural carnal copulation, which includes oral and anal sex in Louisiana.
Right.
The people who were convicted of this, almost all were women, and more than 3/4 were black.
What you trying to say, man?
So that means they were basically saying they were only really enforcing these laws against a select group of people. And that's part of what the issue was.
How do they determine? Do they just like drive down the street and say, we're going to break into, knock on somebody's door and go in and see if they're having some sex?
Well, as it turns out, most of the people were when they were busting prostitutes. When they would bust prostitutes, if you were gay or transsexual,
right,
they would charge you with unnatural carnal copulation because you were certainly, if you were a male,
I hear you,
in drag, you weren't having intercourse, right?
Right.
So that meant if you were having some kind of inner something,
right,
it was going to be either oral or anal. Okay. So you were doing unnatural. So they were basically hitting gay and transsexual sex workers. Now check it out. This gives you an idea of how many people. They have 861 sex offenders registered in New Orleans as of December 2010, right?
Right.
Half of these were for this crimes.
Isn't
that a waste of a law?
I'm just trying to figure out one thing. Okay, yeah, I understand the prostitution and everything else like that. You guys, you know where I'm going with this.
Where are you going with this?
Bottom line is, okay, I want to know how many heterosexual couples have been charged.
None.
Well, are they
none? They only are charging for the most part prostitutes and pretty much just the gay and transgender ones.
So does the law cover other areas?
It does. They just don't enforce it.
So if they did enforce it,
because you know in New Orleans the Big Easy.
Wait a minute.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
This is my scenario. All of a sudden I hear a burglar. You know, there's a burglar. You know, my homie's over the house. He's got his girlfriend over the house. And all of a sudden, I call the police and say, you know, I think somebody's breaking in next door. They come over to my spot. Officer Shelley Thompson comes in and says, hey, let's take down the information. All of a sudden, there's some noises in the other room. And
that's what it sounds like.
And she said, what is that? And he said, well, they're making love. And he says, well, we may want to make sure they're doing it legally. So Officer Shelley Thompson goes in the room and says, aha!
Packing mud.
See, I'm just saying.
Putting things going in the outdoor. There you are caught on the downstroke.
Do not email me that I'm doing something with the name Shelley. I just, at the top of my head. So if your name is Shelley Thompson, I don't know you.
First of all, Vic, that's what I'm saying. I agree. Now check it out. The new law just decriminalized these crimes from felony to misdemeanor. So it's still against the law to get a blowjob in Louisiana.
Wait a minute.
I'm just telling you. I didn't write this.
I'm sorry.
Okay, check it out. And you know, so now, then this is a new bill that was enacted by Senator J.P. Morrell. That means that first offenders will, face up to 6 months in jail and a maximum of $500. So, a blowjob in Louisiana, up to 6 months in jail and a maximum of $500.
Right.
Man, and some people say this is a little harsh. Little harsh.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying, now check it out, because I went trying to find out some other states. As it turns out, in 2003, a Supreme Court ruling in Lawrence versus Texas found that intimate consensual sexual contact was protected under the 14th Amendment. And this invalidated sodomy laws in 14 states. Now, for some reason, I don't know legally, I'm not a lawyer, 7 states still have legislation on the books that makes sodomy illegal. Check it out. The state of Ohio says that anyone who participates in these things can get up to no fewer than 5 years behind bars. Anal sex can get you 15 years in Michigan, and it can get you a felony. It's a felony,
right, in
North Carolina. Virginia says carnally knowing anyone, that's what they call it, carnally being aware, right, knowing anyone with the anus or mouth is a Class 6 felony. So I want you to know right now, everybody, see, I'm trying to help you.
Wonder if people decide, Mark, you know this is
because they don't know.
Some people are going to actually want to be caught for obvious reasons.
Well, that's right. So right now, Virginia, if you carnally know somebody, okay, Idaho, Michigan, right, 15 years for anal sex. And remember that Louisiana right now, even though they've decriminalized it, a blowjob is still 6 months in jail and a maximum $500 penalty. Let's give them a special.
Is there a 3 strikes law? You know,
sound effect
for the carnal, you know, the whole. You're breaking the law. There are 3 strikes. If you get 3,
I don't know about the strikes.
come on, man. See, part of this is that you know what our job here is supposed to ask the questions that try to make common sense. See, my whole thing. I think I have neighbors who actually. You have neighbors, Mario, that go like this. You know, I haven't gotten any. I'm mad as hell. And if I hear anybody around me doing, I'm calling the police.
Well, I actually am suspicious some of my neighbors might be engaged in oral or anal sex. I got to go look. Dick, we got to investigate. Because if anybody's packing any mud around here,
no,
we're going to turn them in Idaho.
I dare anybody come on the show and say, I've been arrested for having a heterosexual relationship, and I just went in the wrong direction. Okay, I just
want y'all to know, and it's at least in Louisiana.
You know what? Why is it always the South, mostly?
Because it's the myth of the backward South. It's the myth.
I didn't say you guys were backwards. I said
it's the myth.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. And a story that we're going to be getting into more deeply tomorrow. There was an oral sex survey. A Massachusetts town is in controversy after 7th grade students at Memorial Middle School in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, were forced to answer questions about their sexual history. Students as young as 12 years old were told they had to fill out a youth risk behavior assessment form. A youth risk behavior assessment form, which, among other things, asked if they'd ever had oral sex and what type of protection they'd last used when having sex. One outraged parent said that you're talking about kids who probably don't even know what oral sex is.
Right.
Had to bring this story to you guys, and tomorrow we're going to go really in depth on this, but we're going to review it today. Because the question that we're raising and that we wanted to raise, at what age should children be polled about their sexual activity? Talk about controversy. And just to make it heavy, Vic.
Yeah, make it heavy, man.
I went and looked at what the American Academy of Pediatrics says and also I went and looked at some of the recent studies, and we're going to go over more of this in detail tomorrow. But just to let you know, the American Academy of Pediatrics and also the Organization for the Family Practitioners, and actually anywhere you go,
right,
they have this pretty much the same form. The reason why the form and the questions have become standardized is because your health practitioners were so unwilling and unable to deal with sexual histories.
Right.
They had to be given specific guidelines as to what questions to ask, what people, at what age. That's how inept they were. And after having your greatest minds in medicine and psychology come together, recommendations were made for what you should ask, and also it was heavily debated at what age you should ask these questions. Okay. So we're going to go over this in more detail tomorrow. Right. But I just want you to know, just on the surface, 25% of your males and females are sexually active by age 15. And of that, the majority have 2 or more partners. About 15% of them have 3 or more partners.
I got a question for you. I got a good one for you. Right. All right. Go back 20 years. What's the percentage of markup of activity compared to, say, 20, 25 years ago? If you just had to throw a number out there, I want to correlate, is this like something to really be concerned about?
25 years ago, it's an increase, but not as much as you think. The average age of first intercourse is 17.
Right. So
now, when I say average, that means a bunch are below and a bunch are above.
Right.
The average is 17, and that's changed somewhat, but not as much as you would think. I'm going to get deep into the statistics, but I'm just going to give you a hint. Now, this is the one that scared me the most. When I looked at the frequency of sex, for single men, age 50 to 59, 67% have had no sex in the last year. Did you know that?
Man, who's been on Neighborhood Watch?
Check this out. That's of single men. Now, of married men, 20% have not had sex in the past year. But of single men age 50, everybody, who cares about? I care about men 50 to 59.
No, you don't.
I do because I'm 50 to 59.
Did you care about men of that age when you were 35?
No, okay. You want to know about 30? Okay, and the men. That's the scary part too. If you look at single men aged 30 to 39, 39% have had no sex. They're watching hall pass. Anyway, tune in tomorrow. We're going to deal in greater detail with the sex survey.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to be bringing you shocking sexual statistics from the Kinsey Institute, one of the most renowned institutes for this type of report. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about at what age should you survey the children.
Let me just say
about their sexual
activity. Let me just say what Mario's doing for you. This broadcast segment, this topic, is catered for those who are over a specific age. There are no young folks under 30 watching this topic.
No, because they know they getting laid. Their parents are shocked. Can you imagine that lady talking about 12-year-olds don't know about oral sex? I got news for you, lady. I got news for you. In a couple years, not only will they know,
right,
they will have a few partners on their belt, okay?
I have to do this. It's my job for you guys to sit there and put it in perspective. That most of the time, if Mario's reporting on something, is statistically driven, he does his research, but all of us want to know, is any advocacy for more proactive sex by men and women over 50? Is that a yes or no?
I'm shocked at those statistics. I'm shocked. Do you know that according to their statistics, Mac will probably say something?
Well, Mac has already got a comment. Mac's comment is that at 71, any kind of sex would give him a massive heart attack. So obviously, you guys cooperative.
81% of the men over 70. If you look at single men over 70, 81% have had no sex in the last year.
Shouldn't we be talking about all the reasons to have sex?
But did I tell you how bad it was for the 30 to 39-year-olds?
Yeah.
That shocked you.
Yeah, it did.
They're not getting laid. A bunch of them are not getting laid.
But that depends on one thing. I always say, please give me the profile and show me the pictures of the people who were surveyed. So we can actually
It's the Kinsey Institute.
I want to know who was surveyed. I think people who volunteer being surveyed are the ones who's going, I need help.
It's the Kinsey Institute, and the methods and means, but at least they are renowned.
No.
They are renowned
for back in the
sources.
50s and 60s.
No, but at least they are a resource. Now, that study, the statistics that I was quoting you,
right.
I think those were there's always a lag. Those were 2007.
I know it's a lag.
There's a lag, but yeah, the Kinsey Institute was actually started in the 40s as part of that whole the first sexual research.
I'd rather listen to the Madonna report, Lady Gaga report,
Gaga. By just the name, you know what that signifies. Okay. If I had the Gaga.
If the statistics were wrong and they came from either one of those ladies, even, Nicki Minaj.
All right, well, anyway, I'm going to go into detail tomorrow. Okay, let me just tell you. Y'all got a hunger to know. Tomorrow I'll be talking about the age of first intercourse.
Right.
I'm going to talk about the average age. I'm going to break it down by ethnicity. Whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, who's doing it first, and how much. Now I'm also going to give you some interesting statistics on bondage, discipline, some issues on birth control, condom use, all of that, you guys. The Kinsey group let me tell you the topics that if you go search the Kinsey Institute online, they have statistics on penis size, sex practices, vaginal size, orgasm, HIV/AIDS, homosexuality, frequency of sex, teen sexual activity, sexual transmitted diseases, internet porno, fantasy, and all of this is at the Kinsey Institute. I know. If you want to know more. We'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess
we'll be here tomorrow. Y'all want to see it? Be here tomorrow.
Give me the report.
It's gonna be hot. I'm saving it for DeVoe.
I want percentage of how many people the first time and what age were they when they called out somebody else's name.
I don't know if they have that one.
They got to ask all the questions. You can't just give me the stats. You got to. I want to know the background of these people.
The first at which you had
called out somebody else's name.
Vaginal farts or something. That's terrible.
Okay, bro. This is bad.
That's big. See, I told you, I don't pick these topics. This is what comes across the desk.
Yeah.
All right, now, okay, I got to tell you guys this one. Okay, let's deal with the Twitter trends. Okay, the top 10 Twitter trends this week, you guys, starting from number 10 and working our way up. I know you're dying to know this. Number 10 Twitter trend this week is Wimbledon. 2-week-long tennis tournament climaxed. I just thought the way that was. I love that.
Yeah.
Petra Kvitkova, whatever, defeated Maria Sharapova for the women's singles title.
And that's still trending right now.
It's still trending. It's number
Wow,
10.
That's amazing.
Isn't that a trip with trends? Number 9 trend is Glee. Wow. And Glee made number 9 trend just by announcing the cast changes. That's how popular Glee is.
All right.
It announces the cast changes, and it's become number 10. Number 8, believe it or not, is still the U.S. 4th of July. That's right. And these are the okay, number 7, International Kissing Day. Did you guys know that July 6th was International Kissing Day, otherwise known as World Kiss Day?
You didn't know either, right?
I had no idea.
Why would you want to know that?
I would have maybe kissed someone.
Or something.
Had someone kiss me. That was number 7. Number 6 is Lady Gaga, who always trends. They say she trended because of her new worldwide tour coming and people talking about her Little Monsters. That's, there's some music.
What's nothing,
song?
Nothing.
Music.
No, I ain't saying nothing.
Number 5 trend is Harry Potter, as fans all over the world were excited by the world premiere of his film July 7th at Trafalgar Square in London.
I didn't know he had an alcohol problem. I didn't know that, man.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Man, you coming in with all the news today. He has alcohol problem. Harry?
He admitted it. Yeah,
is he a sex addict too?
And let me tell you what his quote was. He says he was surprised that while he was in the midst of hanging out and going out, that the paparazzi had many opportunities to catch him.
Never caught him.
Or show him in a stupor or in a place where it would not be cool. And he said he's just lucky. So he just came out and admitted that, he's got, he's not drinking any longer, I believe. But yeah, he had an alcoholism problem.
Well, damn. Wow. Well, okay. That's number 5. Number 4, Disney's Phineas and Ferb. It's a movie coming out on the 5th. Anybody know about Phineas and Ferb?
Yes. Yeah.
See,
pretend like you do.
Okay.
Man.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I know about it.
I have no Phineas. Number 3, Justin Bieber, who trends, like they say, he's just trends for whatever reason. They have no idea why he's trending. He just always trends. He's number 3. Number 2 trend, Casey Anthony trial, which she was pronounced not guilty, killing her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. But the number 1 trending topic, soccer, football, the 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup. Wow.
That's to be expected, though. That one, you can understand. Yeah.
Man.
That's good. It's good.
Tell you what, this is the good news, the bad news, other shit. Okay. All right. Now, let me get to this other political thing, just so we raise this. And we're going to deal more with our politics on Wednesday. And also, by the way, I'm putting off one of the stories in the interest of time for tomorrow. And that's a story, piece from Al Jazeera. It's really focusing about all the controversy with men lately on the news, our elected representatives tweeting pictures. Right. And once again, the questions being raised is pornography driving men crazy? Or is that the internet just too much sexual stimulation and that men are acting a damn fool? But even though I think men, it's no different. It's the same.
Well, here's a trade-off.
But we'll talk about more of that.
Trade-off, man. Women back in the day, or I guess you can say back in the day, sports was the biggest issue. Men's attention on sports. So now they can stay home and watch porn.
Well, that's what. Stay home and share it with your mate. And except you guys like that different porn. Women like that porn with the back rubs and the.
What's wrong with that, man?
Oils and a lot of kissing on the face.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to say
that's not men? I'll tell you tomorrow. I got the statistical studies about what you fantasize about, you nasty freaks.
Well, why would
men
the women
are different?
Watch it? Why would
men and women are different about what they want to see.
You're not encouraging the women to.
I want them to tune in tomorrow so I can hear the dirt about their sick sex practices. Sickies. Nah, I'm gonna tell you. Might even have to bring out some of my old.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Scandals. Bring out some scandals. I'm gonna bring out some pictures of Vic's old girlfriends.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Get out some of mine. We ought to go first, Vic. We can beat them to the scandal.
You know what? If you got to claim them.
Let's put out the scandal now to get ahead of them.
Wait a minute. You won't even. Okay. I'm not going to say. I'm leaving. Alone.
I'm gonna get some scandals out of my old girlfriends.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna put out some. Some of them can't cook.
Be careful what you ask for. Karma.
They say, Mario, you can't cook.
Else.
Some of them can't cook.
I'm putting phone block.
That's about as deep as I'm. All right, political, you guys, and on Wednesday we're going to get in more politics, but check this out. The U.S. officially is suspending $800 million in military aid to Pakistan. Now, first, before you get too happy, it actually represents a little more than 1/3 of the $2 billion annual U.S., quote-unquote, security assistance. It's how we pay people to go along with our drone attacks. So that's how we get to have drones over your country. And so I guess they say Pakistan is not acting right. And so they're going to punish him by holding back on 1/3 of the money to show him who's boss, I guess. I'm just paying attention. This is my take. And a quote, let's see what it says. The quote, White House Chief of Staff William Daley said, quote unquote, the Pakistani relationship is difficult, but it must be made to work over time. But until we get through these difficulties, we'll hold back some of the money that the American taxpayers have committed to give. So I want you to know. So you bad boys, you're not getting your money.
I'm not saying no comment on that one, man. I don't think everybody. If you even try to keep up with, I said so just say there's covert and covert all day long.
Covert.
What's the best situation that makes both sides happy? That's all I've ever asked. That's it.
Covert and lovert.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, everybody. Once again. That's been, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. The good news, it's decriminalized oral and anal sex in Louisiana. The bad news, still a $500 penalty in 6 months. What is it, 6 months? It's illegal.